Hello you lovely people and welcome. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the C-46 Commando by Aeroplane Heaven. Now, first time I ever saw or heard of the C-46 Commando was when Ice Pilots aired in the UK in my early teens. That's Ice Pilots NWT if you're in North America. NWT standing for Northwest Territories, which is the area in which Buffalo Airways do most of their flying. Base of operations, Yellowknife in Canada, obviously, and this will be the location of my flying for this video. So let's have a look at the liveries you get with the C-46. So we get this blue, two-tone blue, nicely weathered. You get the United States Navy natural metal finish, a Japanese Air Self-Defense Force, also natural metal with Dayglow orange, and then you get a fictional sort of olive green, would probably be classed as a United States Army Air Force, US Air Force scheme as well. So we'll go with the blue, as that's already selected. Like I say, we're going to fly from Yellowknife. Buffalo Airways operating from this area here. You can see one of their Dakotas, a couple of more of the Dakotas around the back here. And let's pick a heavy parking area. So here, okay. So let's get in and have a look at the cockpit. Okay, so looking around in the cockpit, you can see that we have quite a nice high vantage point, and the visibility is actually pretty decent, with all the windows, a bit like a greenhouse in front of you. And there's the tower at Yellowknife. Okay, so let's just look around from left to right and see. We've got fire extinguishers and comms there. We've got an openable window here, and down here we've got pitot heat switches. Okay, and we've got a ultraviolet gauge lighting switch there, and pilot wipers that do work. We have our fuel selection, fuel tank selectors there. Coming up and across we have our oxygen flow, and looking at our appropriately themed co-pilot, although not sure what's going on with his arms there. You'll see that he's got an oxygen mask. If we flick the oxygen on, the mask is now on and secure. We turn that off again, it comes off. So looking at the gauges, we've got the oxygen blinker there for the for when the oxygen is flowing, and the pressure, and then we've got our oil quantity gauge there and our de-icing pressure there. We have an emergency autopilot power, which powers this little device here. We have the yoke toggle there, which we can obviously on and off. We've got our suction gauge, and I believe this one is the cabin temp in Fahrenheit, which, being British, I'm not really used to. So we can stick that back on. Now we've got our pretty much our flying six. So we've got airspeed, compass, artificial horizon, altitude, radio compass, and our VVI. This is for guiding onto VORs and also our ILS if tuned in. Coming across the top here is our comms and our transponder, another compass there. This is our gyro pilot. Basically it's a rudimentary autopilot, runs off a gyro, as you probably tell by the name. We can set gyro drift, stereo illumination, our desired heading, and then we've got our bank adjust and gyro pitch, and our bank and climb cage there. Across the middle, again we've got another sort of radio type compass, which we have ADF and VOR pointers there. Fuel quantity in all the tanks. A spare gauge there that's got nothing in. A clock. Manifold pressure, RPMs, extinguisher handles there that you can't really do much with. Pitch trim, our radiator flaps, our mixtures, prop pitch, cowl flaps, throttles, and mixture for engine number 2 there, and another oil radiator flap lever there. We've got retraction switches there for landing light, rudder trim, aileron trim. We've got our fuel tank pump switches either side, and feathering switches for the engines either side here. Crossfeed either one there, and then we've got flaps, supercharge, our carburetor heat, a tail wheel lock, landing gear, parking brake, and then release cable lever if we are towing anything, which I don't think is an option, but you never know. We have a radio navigator seat there. None of this is clickable. Then we've got repeating over the other side. Again, yoke toggle. You can switch on the which fuel tanks you want from that side there. We've got recognition light switches there. Co-pilot wiper. That's just a repeater of the pitot heat there. And then if we put that back on, come up to the top, we've got rear stats for compass and overhead panels, some gauges there for voltage and stuff like that, generator switches which are guarded. Then we've got our external lighting, inverters, anti-ice, avionics, magnetos and master ignition, a cold and dark switch if you want to quickly switch it to cold and dark, or battery. Then we've got our starter, mesh starter, port of prime, port oil dilution, and then repeater for the starboard. And then up the top here, none of this is clickable. Now to open the cargo door and the side door, just a matter of clicking the door, crew door there, opening the dividing wall there with the cockpit door, and if we click open cargo door there, you'll see that the cargo door opens at the back, and if we click it again, it will close. So if we open that, we can take a look outside. There is also a secure aircraft switch. I'm trying to remember where that is now. Bear with me 1 second. Yeah, sorry about the brain fart up there. Secure aircraft switch is up here where it says secure aircraft, funnily enough. 1, I can't read. 2, I can't remember anything, and I'm starting to worry that I might have dementia. So flicking the secure aircraft switch there gives you extras outside as well, and there's a cabin light switch there. So if we jump outside and have a look, so with all the additional switches switched on, doors open. This is the setup you get outside. You get a fire extinguisher for each engine, chocks for the wheels, a navigator, radio engineer guy with ladder for the crew door. At the back we get obviously the cargo door open, and you can see inside with a ladder up to it, and we also get a Willys Jeep parked outside, which gives it a nice busy feeling on the ramp. Now, having cleaned everything up, we can now take a look at it proper. And I've got to say, modelling is superb, as is the actual livery itself. The weathering, obviously with the exhaust dirt up on the fuselage and across the wing, and all the marks from where people have clambered all over it. It really does look good. It really looks the part, and external model itself is extremely good with all the aerials. I'm not sure which variant this is. I know Buffalo Airways, they've run the Delta and Foxtrot variant. I'm not 100% sure which variant this is based on, or if it's just based on all variants across the board and just amalgamated. I never really looked too deeply into the description that came with the aircraft. I'm sure it says in there. But yeah, really does look good. Same can go for the inside really. I mean, all the weathering, texturing, really does look the part. I think they've done a very good job. I've got to say the co-pilot looks a bit weird. He looks like he's got rigor mortis or something. His hands on the yoke would have been a nice addition. But yeah, other than that, it looks nice and busy inside. So let's get this thing fired up and have a listen to the engines. Doesn't seem very loud. Pretty sure it'd be a little bit louder than that. Very quiet. Let's jump in and have a listen to the sounds. Now I've got the cockpit window open, so let's give it a rev. Again, it just seems very quiet. Shut the windows up and see what it's like then. Not really any different. Any dynamic? No. No, I mean, I'm pretty sure the engine should be a little... Well, the engines seem louder when you're inside the aircraft than when you're actually outside of it, which is a bit of a letdown. But, yeah. Okay, well, let's get this thing taxiing and do some ground handling with it. Make sure that the tail wheel is unlocked, which I believe up means it is. Take parking brake off. Okay, where are we going? We're going to head... Well, we're already moving, so... Get this thing turned around. Certainly hasn't got a small turning circle as you would imagine, but... I thought, yeah, but there we go, that's a bit better. Okay, so let's head towards the southern runway, more southern facing anyway. Can't really see where I'm going. Okay, so yeah, it's heavy and cumbersome. I don't think you would expect it any different really from an old plane like this. So you sort of get the feeling from the aircraft that it's big and clumsy. Right, let's open those oil radiator flaps. Cowl flaps are open. What's the flap situation at? Okay. Right, let's zero out our altimeter and get ourselves ready to roll out. Landing lights are extended. Okay. Okay, everything's in the green. Fuel quantity in center tank is good. Aft is empty, and the forward tank we have quite a bit. That's all right. So all is good there. Just remember not to select the rear tank. With these fuel tank selectors, what you'll see is you've got 2 nubbins, 1 nubbin and 3 nubbin, and it does have written on there forward, center and aft. So if you've got it on, if you've got 3 nubbins facing up, you've got aft fuel tank selected. If you've got better graphics card than I have, which is highly likely, then you'll probably be able to make out the lettering a lot better than I can. So we're flying on central. Now we have the crossfeed open. Landing lights are extended, both left and right. Flaps are down in the takeoff position. Okay, gets lined up. I'm going to lock that tail wheel. Do one last check. Yes. All is good. All in the green over there. Right. Let's do this. Rotate. Brakes, gear up. Trimming it out. Certainly a lot of trees up here in Canada. Gear flaps up, trim out. Okay, I'm going to throttle back slightly. Don't want to go too fast. Keep the manifold pressure good. Pitch back a bit. Okay. And pitch, roll, and you're quite responsive. Let's close up the cowl flaps now. Close up the oil radiator flaps. Don't know if that's right. Someone will probably tell me I'm doing it wrong, which is fair enough. I don't fly props too much. Okay, if we fly nice and level, switch on the gyro power for the pilot, the autopilot, well, emergency autopilot. takes a little while for it to settle, but this one seems to be diving, which is great. Okay, I'm not going to play around with that too much, but yeah, you have an emergency autopilot. Trim out. Head back towards not Buffalo, Yellowknife. Don't stray too far. Flies really nicely. Only doing 130 miles an hour. And it responds really well to the controls. Not a bad little plane, to be honest. I say little, it's not little. Takes a lot of trimming, as you'd expect from an old aircraft like this. A lot of trimming, keeping it level. Basically a pilot's aeroplane. No computers to do it for you. It's all done by the hands, which is well, it makes flying fun. That's what it's all about. Keep yourself busy and taking everything in. Not a bad aircraft at all, to be honest. I'd rate it better than the C-47 that they released. Okay, let's get this thing on the ground. Okay, get the cowl flaps open. Flaps open. Start getting the flaps down in a moment. Get downwind. So yeah, the only real disappointing thing about this is the sounds. They just don't seem loud enough. Get the gear down. The flaps down, gear down. Just under 100 mile an hour. Starting to get sluggish, but still quite responsive. Feeling sick yet, mate? No? Okay. Wait until I do this then. So let's start turning in. Okay, so let's back down terra firma. As we're cruising along at sunset, I thought I'd show you some night lighting. So we're in flashlight mode at the moment. We can just switch on instrument lighting with this switch here. We can get in dim mode or bright mode, or if we wish we can use the UV, which just does the gauges we have a rheostat here for the compass light, which will do the radio instruments. So if we dim that, you can see it gets brighter. And then we've got a floodlight for the central panel. So if needed, you can fly along and illuminate everything that you need. So there you go. Well, there's not really much to say about the Commando. It's just another medium haul aircraft with props. I mean, we've got the DC-3 C-47. Now we've got the C-46. All by Aeroplane heaven. There's not much between them really, unless you've got a real thing for the C-46. DC-3 or C-47 will do exactly the same. So you've got a few extras on the C-47. You've got paratroopers, and you've got the Waco glider. Whereas this, you just have what I pretty much showed you in the video. So in terms of what you get for the price, in comparison to, I know it was an anniversary sort of edition to celebrate the 80th anniversary of D-Day, but still you're paying the same price for something that's got a little less in it. Also, the engine sounds just don't sound. They don't seem right. They're not loud enough. They don't give enough grunt. Not very satisfactory to the ears. Unless it's just my hearing. You know, you may have a different opinion. You also get 3 liveries and 1 fictional. Fictional being the USAF one, but these 3, yeah, nice natural metal finish and a nicely weathered blue, and a rather odd Japanese Air Self-Defense Force variant. Other than that, really, like I say, there's not much to say about it. £12. They just seem to be releasing them quite regularly, which says to me that there's not too much being put into them, hence the price, I guess. But if you want a C-46 Commando, there it is. I will say, looks wise, I would say that the C-46 wins. That's just me. I like uglier aircraft for some reason. They just do something for me. And that would be my go-to if I had the choice between, well, I do have the choice, but if I had to pick between the two, it would be the C-46, purely because it just looks odd, and yeah, I don't know, just something about it. But it's good aircraft. All the functions are there, works well, looks good, flies good, as long as you get the enjoyment out of that, that's all that matters. But yeah, at £12, really can't complain. If you've got this far, thank you for watching. As always, take care, and I will catch you in the next one.